Mr. Perangelo, you may call your first witness. Yeah.
Here, people will call Tyrone Hassel II.
Good afternoon. If you'd approach the podium, raise your right hand for the judge, please.
Do you hereby solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in the matter now pending before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? This you do under the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
All right, let us.
Sir, if you would please state your full name for the record and spell your last.
Tyrone Hassel Jr. Last name is spelled Hassel.
Proceed, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Hassel, your son murdered at your home in the driveway New Year's Eve 2018.
Yes.
What was your son's name?
Tyrone Hassel III,
How old was he?
23.
Where did he grow up, sir?
In Ben Harbor.
Where did he go to high school?
Ben Harbor High School.
Do you participate in activities at Benton Harbor High School?
Tons of them.
Like what?
Basketball, marching band, JROTC, baseball, track.
How are his grades?
Excellent.
Proud of him?
Very.
After he graduated from Benton Harbor High School, what did he do?
He earned himself an honor scholarship to Grand Valley University.
Can you just speak up just a little bit, okay, sir? Scholarship to GVSU?
Yes.
Did he attend there?
Yes.
Yeah, just to help the record.
At some point, did he leave Grand Valley?
Yes.
And why did he leave Grand Valley, sir?
To join the Army.
Remember when that was?
I believe it was in February of 2015.
Was he successful in the Army?
Yes.
Can I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
My hand has been marked as People's Exhibit 2. Are you able to recognize that, sir?
Yes, I do.
How are you able to recognize that?
That's the day you graduated from basic training.
For the Army?
I wear it right here. Yes.
Is that you in the picture with him?
Yes.
Is that fair and accurate?
Yes.
Can I move to admit Exhibit number 2 into evidence?
No objection, Judge.
Number 2 is admitted.
How did he do while he was in the Army?
He excelled very quickly.
Eventually made sergeant?
Yes, he did.
My hand has been marked as People's Exhibit 3. Familiar with that, sir?
Yes.
What is it?
I believe it's not when he made sergeant, but I believe it was another achievement.
That's a picture of him
Yes, it is.
in his Army uniform?
Yes.
I would admit People's Exhibit 3 into evidence.
No objection, Judge.
Number 3 is admitted.
Now, while he was in the Army, did he ever have family that he asked to come live with him?
Yes.
How many times?
Twice.
When was the first time?
First time is when my other son graduated from high school. He asked, he was in Colorado, he brought him out there.
Was he in the Army at the time?
My son, yes.
Why did you bring him out there?
To get a better life, better opportunity. It's better than Ben Harbor, it's not really much here. So he wanted to give him the same options, or different options, than just being here in this small town.
Mr. Hassel, do you know Kemia Hassel?
Yes,
Is she here in the courtroom today?
yes.
Can you please point her out and describe an article of clothing that she's wearing?
She's got on a navy blue suit.
May the record reflect that witness identified the defendant here today.
Yes, it may.
How do you know Kemia Hassel, the defendant?
She was married to my son.
Okay. Do you know when your son, Sergeant Hassel, and the defendant got married?
I believe it was somewhere in May of 2016. I know that's when the engagement took place, and I think they got married shortly after.
Did they have a child together?
Yes.
What's that child's name, sir?
Tyrone Hassel IV. We refer to him as Chunk.
Why?
Actually, his mother came up with the name, but he was just a little chunky.
Hardy, huh?
Yes.
And when was he born?
February 2nd of 2017.
At some point, did your son, while he was a sergeant in the Army, deploy out to Korea?
Yes.
Do you remember when that was, sir?
The deployment took place, I believe it was right around February also. It was right after Chunk's first birthday.
So it would have been 2018, February 2018?
Yes. I struggle with dates now.
What do you mean?
Because 2019, to me, still hard to exist.
That was your son?
Yes.
So they deployed a little after Chunk's first birthday in 2018, February.
Yes.
Did Chunk go with them?
No.
Where was Chunk?
He was with me
Okay.
for about 4 months, maybe 4.5. And her mother came up. I met her in Chicago at the airport, and she took him for the remainder of their deployment.
Just kind of split it up.
Yes.
So did your son, Sergeant Hassel, get a break while he was in the Army, come home in December of 2018?
Yes.
When did he come home roughly?
It was, I believe it was December the 19th or something like that.
Who came with him?
Kemia, Chunk, and 3 dogs.
3 dogs?
Yes.
It's a packed car. Did they stay with you?
Yes.
Where do you live at?
2086 Colfax, Benton Harbor.
Can I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yes. May I just remark this people's exhibit number 4. Are you able to recognize that, sir?
Yes.
What is it?
It's my house.
I'm sorry, what was the address for your house?
2086 Colfax Avenue.
Is that St. Joseph Township?
Yes, our address is considered as Benton Harbor, Michigan, but we do live in St. Joseph Township.
So Benton Harbor mailing address.
Benton Harbor, Maryland, yes, yes, sir.
Is that in Berrien County, Michigan?
Yes.
Is that a fair and accurate picture of the front of your house?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I move to admit people's exhibit number 4 into evidence.
No objection, Judge.
Number 4 is admitted.
If I can have you take a look at people's exhibit number 5. I'm going to put 4 on the screen first. That's the front of your house at 2086 Colfax Avenue? Up there on the screen, sir?
Oh, yes.
All right. People's exhibit number 5. I'm just going to hurry through this one, I guess. Is that a picture of your house from like the back of your house, looking towards the back of your house from an angle?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Is that fair and accurate representation how the back of your house looks at from that angle?
It's kind of the side. It's the door that we use to go in and out the house.
Okay.
It's behind my neighbor's yard.
But that's fair and accurate?
Yes.
Admit people's exhibit number 5 into evidence.
No objection, Judge.
Number 5 is admitted.
So that's kind of a far off view, so to speak.
Yes.
Correct. And in looking at this, your house would have very short arms. House would be the brown one in the middle, behind those sheds. Correct, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. So when your son was home with his family on Christmas break, they were spending the nights at your house?
Yes.
Maya was spending the nights, Sergeant Hassel, at your house?
Yes.
Did the defendant ever spend the nights at any other house?
No.
What was your son doing while home on break?
My son was a very active kid. Young man. He spent a lot of time cutting all his friends' hair because he was in town and they got the discount of a haircut.
Say discount haircut?
Yeah, I
Generous.
guess you can call it the buddy discount. He played a lot of basketball. He went to the wire a lot. He still tried to stay in shape so he wouldn't be out of shape when he went back off of leave because he had to do PT a lot.
So from all the holiday eating.
Yeah, he loves to eat.
So what? Who else lives in the home with you?
My wife,
What's her name?
Ashanti Hassel.
Where's your wife do?
She works at the ER
How long she worked there?
about 7 or 8 years.
So what do you do, sir?
I'm a warehouse and delivery manager for a furniture company.
Is that local?
Yes,
How long have you been working there?
11 years.
When was your son supposed to leave to go back to Georgia?
Initially they was going to leave right after Christmas, but they decided to stay after the New Year. Kemia said they would stay after the New Year because they didn't have to be back to, they didn't have to report back right away.
So when were they intend on going back down then?
What was that?
When were they intend on going back down?
After her birthday,
When was that? I'm sorry.
January 3rd, I think.
When they went back down, was anybody supposed to go with them?
Yes.
Who's that?
My son's sister, Kiesia.
Kiesia? She a little sister?
Yes.
And why was she going back down with them?
Basically the same reason, same way he took his brother. She had just graduated high school and wanted to give her a better opportunity to do other things.
Mr. Hassel, I want to talk to you about New Year's Eve, 2018. Okay? Is that the last day you saw your son alive?
Yes.
Were you guys kind of hanging out before the New Year's?
We were.
What was going on? Tell the jury.
I was cooking. We planned on having a family gathering, and I was in the kitchen cooking everything, different flavored chicken, meatballs, some shrimp, and I don't remember everything, but we were just having a couple drinks and enjoying each other as family.
How many people were there?
7.
7 people?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, did your son leave that gathering?
10:57.
Was the defendant at that gathering?
No.
Why did he leave?
To take his wife some food.
So this was a little bit before 11 o'clock.
Yes.
Did you talk with him about coming back?
Yes.
Was he coming back to the gathering?
Yes, I told him to hurry up back before midnight. In Ben Harbor, at midnight on New Year's, everybody shoot their guns. So I don't allow my kids to be out at midnight, and I believe I looked at my watch, which it could have been a little fast or a little slow, but on my watch it was 10:57 when he walked out the door.
And George Center?
Yes.
My name is Marcus, People's Exhibit 100. Is that a photograph, sir?
Yes,
Are you able to recognize one of the people in that photograph?
yes,
Okay. Are you able to recognize your son in that photograph?
yes.
Okay. There's two people in that photograph, one on the right, one on the left. Which one's your son, sir?
The one on the left.
And you know, was that taken on New Year's Eve?
Yes.
So you told him you wanted him back before 12, and he left a little bit before 11.
Yes.
What's the next thing you found out about your son?
That he had been shot.
When did you find that out?
Shortly after he walked out the door.
Who told you?
Kemia.
When you heard that, what did you do?
I panicked. I couldn't believe it because he just walked out the door and he wasn't with anybody. So I was running in circles for a minute, and I just ran out and jumped in my truck and flew to my house.
Sir, my name is Marcus, People's Exhibit 6. You able to recognize that photograph, sir?
Yes,
Is that a picture from the night? New Year's Eve, 2018?
yes,
Is that a fair and accurate picture of how it looked that night when you arrived, for the most part?
when I arrived, he was still right there.
Okay.
But that's a fair and accurate photo of the scene after the police finished doing their work in the medics.
Okay. Here I move to admit People's Exhibit 6 in evidence.
No objection.
Number 6 is admitted.
And take a look at People's Exhibit number 7. Is that just a closer up of People's Exhibit number 6?
Yes,
Fair and accurate, sir?
yes,
Here I move to admit People's Exhibit 7 in evidence.
Without objection.
Number 7 is admitted.
Can you tell the jury what you saw when you got there, sir?
when I arrived, the paramedics was already there. I saw them trying to put my son on the gurney, I believe it's called. On the first attempt, he slipped, and then they put him on there. And when they lift him up, I saw my son, back of his head explode out, and his eyes were open. I looked at him to see where all he was shot at, and I saw a hole right here.
Now, when you say right here, you're indicating, just for the record, sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but on the right side
Of the
his
ear.
face?
Right under the ear. And the back of his head was just this big.
Did they load him on the ambulance?
Yes.
Did it look good to you at that point?
No. I knew it at that point that my son wasn't going to make it. And I just was trying to stay out their way and let them do their job. I remember Kemia trying to jump in the ambulance with him, but I grabbed her back.
Sir, after the murder, did Kemia continue to stay at your house?
Yes,
Chunk stay there too?
yes.
Did you guys meet with the police afterwards?
The very next morning,
At any time, did the defendant mention anything about Jeremy Cuellar?
no,
At any time, did she mention anything about her involvement in the murder of your son?
no,
Did she say anything to you at all about it?
no. I think I talked to her about everything that I was trying to find out. I actually started questioning everybody and I guess acting as a detective myself, trying to figure out what happened.
Later on January 11th, did you get a call from the police?
Yes.
Did they ask you to bring Kemia?
I got a call from Officer Peppers. I really felt like Peppers was really doing a good job, and I trusted him. And I told him he can call me at any time. And he called me and said something had came up for me and Kemia to go to the sheriff's department and to bring her phone with us.
Did you take her down to the sheriff's department?
Yes.
When you got to the sheriff's department, did you stay with Kemia, the defendant?
No.
What happened?
They immediately separated us. We walked through the door. They said, Mr. Hassel, have a seat right here. Kemia, come right here. And as soon as they walked out of eyesight, he turned back around and told me to go home. It was going to be a long night.
Did you see the defendant anymore after that?
No, besides coming to court for the first time.
That was on Friday the 11th.
Yes,
When was the funeral for your son?
the 12th. The next following day.
7 North Yard. Nothing further this witness.
Mr. Hassel?
Judge, I have no questions for Mr. Hassel.
Thank you, sir. You may sit down. Will the witness be excused?
No, Judge.
You are excused, sir. And Mr. Frangeli, you may call your next witness.
Thank you. This time, people will call Michael Schultz.
If you'd approach the podium, raise your right hand for the judge, please.
Do you hereby solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in the matter now pending before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as you do under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Thank you.
Sir, if you would state your full name for the record and spell your last, please.
Lawrence Schultz, Schultz.
Can I proceed, ma'am?
Yes.
Sir, I'm going to apologize. Your first name is Lawrence, your last name is Schultz. What's your middle name, sir?
Michael.
And you go by Michael usually?
Yes,
Mike? But I announced you as Michael Schultz. So should I call you Mike?
That's fine.
I'll call you Mr. Schultz. Mr. Schultz, did you respond to the shooting scene of Tyrone Hassel III on New Year's Eve 2018?
Yes, sir.
Where was that located at?
2086 Colfax, St. Joe Township.
That's in Berrien County, Michigan.
Yes, sir.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a paramedic supervisor.
Tell the jury about being a paramedic supervisor. What do you do?
I pretty much cover the guys on my shift, make sure everything's going smooth, get them supplies when they need them, relief if somebody has to go home sick, and handle all the, I guess, disciplinary stuff on my shift.
I hope you don't have to add too much of that, right?
Right.
You've seen a lot of cases then in your time?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been a paramedic?
I've been a paramedic since 1984,
1984.
and I've worked at medic since 1978.
So you've worked through medics since 1978
Yes, sir.
for about 41 years.
Yep.
And in 1984, you've been a paramedic on the road,
Right.
so for about 35 years. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Just so you know, just so everybody can hear, I'm not sure if you guys can hear in the back, but if I can, you speak up so that all the jurors can hear what you have to say. Okay, sir?
Very good.
As a paramedic, do you respond to a lot of calls?
Yes, sir. About 1,000 a year.
1,000 a year? Okay. Do some of those involve assault wounds?
Yes, sir.
Some of those involve gunshot wounds?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Schultz, I want to direct your attention to December 31st of 2018. You indicate you respond to a call at 2086 Colfax. Is that for a call of a man down gunshot wound?
Yes, sir.
Were you the senior person there, you indicated?
Yes, sir.
Who else responded with you?
My partner that night was Drexel Hayner,
Okay.
and then Thomas Gordon and Rachel Hodge also. They backed us up. We were there first, and they came and helped.
Is that pretty standard?
Yes, sir.
I want you to take a look at this, because Exhibit 7. Are you able to recognize? I'm sorry, 6. Are you able to recognize that, sir?
Yes, sir. That's the driveway where we backed into.
Was that truck there that night?
Yeah.
Tell the jury essentially what you saw when you arrived there that night.
When we arrived on scene, he was, the patient was laying on the ground. There was blood on the side of the truck and on the running board. The patient had what I deemed 4 gunshot wounds, 2 to the head, 1 to the neck, and 1 to the right shoulder.
And Your Honor, just for the record, Mr. Schultz appears to be referring to something to refresh his recollection in his
All
hand.
right, give some notes.
I have a
Yeah.
report that,
Okay. I'll tell you what, could you mind just putting that off to the side?
Yeah.
And if you need to refer, if that would help refresh your
Okay.
memory, just let us know, okay?
yep,
So you noticed multiple wounds.
yes, sir.
My hand must have been marked as People's Exhibit 112. Are you able to recognize this, sir?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
It's mine,
It's a DVD?
yeah, it's a DVD.
Okay. Does it contain video footage from that night where you were involved?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's a,
That's the wrong one, I think.
that is the wrong one. That's a body camera, right?
Yeah,
I'm glad you pointed that out. My hand must have been marked as People's Exhibit 110. Is that
Yep.
DVD?
that's it.
Have you reviewed what's on this DVD?
Yes, sir.
How do you know that, sir?
My initials are on the DVD.
Okay. And that's a body camera from the St. Joe Township Police Department?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair and accurate of what you were observing there that night and what took place that night?
Yes, sir.
You're going to move to admit Exhibit number 110 into evidence?
Without objection.
Number 110 is admitted.
It's just going to take me a moment.
Where's he at? Don't let anybody come up here, guys. Well, we're trying tonight. Yeah, there's up, no, you got shot here. We're gonna have to get these people out of here. Well, once they clear.
At that point, sir, was he loaded in the ambulance to be taken to
the hospital?
Yes, sir.
Did you try to render aid to Sergeant Hassel?
Yes, sir.
What did that include?
When we got him in the back of the ambulance, he still had a heartbeat. He wasn't breathing, however. We inserted a tube into his throat so he could breathe, established an IV with fluids, and transported to the ER.
Did he have any blood pressure at the time?
It was 60 over nothing, and by the time we got to the hospital, it was gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Was it fatal, his wounds?
Yes, sir.
Did you try any other life-saving treatments?
As we got into the ER, when he was lost his pulse when we got into the ER, and then they continued on with CPR and fluid replacement. And
Can I have you just speak up, sir?
after we got into the ER, they administered CPR and established more IVs and tried to resuscitate him.
Were they successful in doing that?
No, sir.
Was he eventually declared dead at the hospital?
Yes, sir.
I'll show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 55. You able to recognize the person in that photo?
Yes, sir.
Is that Tyrone Hassel III?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, as I just indicated to the defense counsel, that photos won't be admitted now, be admitted later with further medical testimony. I have nothing further to this witness.
Mr. Schultz, just briefly, at the scene, do you recall, obviously a number of police officers and medics were there, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember Ms. Hassel being there?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall, were there other civilians there?
No, I believe she was there by herself when we got there, and then some other people showed up while we were there, and the father showed up and while we were loading him. And
That video, the portion that we just saw, that was when you arrived on the scene, is that correct?
no, I was the first one. The ambulance that was sitting in the driveway
Sure.
is the one that drove there. I was the first one there of everybody.
I understand. I got you. Thank you. Thank you, Judge. I have nothing else.
Anything else, Mr. Perangelo?
Nothing further.
Thank you. You may step down. May this witness be excused.
Yes, Judge. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are excused.
May we call our next witness, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Would people call Brent Kotecki?
Approach the podium, please. Raise your right hand for the judge.
Do you hereby solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in the matter now pending before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, this you do under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Sir, if you would, state your full name for the record and spell your last, please.
Brent Kotecki, Kotecki.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you employed?
Through the City of St. Joseph Department of Public Safety.
What is your rank?
Sergeant.
How old are you, sir?
28 next Friday.
Is it unusual for someone your age to be sergeant?
Yes, I was the youngest person in the history of our department to be promoted to sergeant.
How long have you been a sergeant with St. Joseph?
Just over a year.
Sir, did you respond to 2086 Colfax Avenue on New Year's Eve, 2018?
Yes, sir.
Is that address in St. Joe Township?
Yes, sir.
As a sergeant with the city, is it common to assist other jurisdictions with investigations?
Yes, on priority calls.
Was this a priority call on New Year's Eve?
Yes, sir.
What time were you dispatched?
11:05 p.m.
And what time did you arrive on scene at that address?
Approximately 11:10 p.m.
So 5 minutes later? approximately?
Correct.
Sir, please tell the jury what you observed when you arrived.
When I arrived on scene, PSO Cyrus from our department was also arriving on scene, and Sergeant Lanier from St. Joe Township was on scene. Medic had already been on scene, and their rig was in the driveway. Walked up the driveway, could see victim to the side of the vehicle, to the truck, appeared to have blood on his face, and at that time there was a lot of people on that side, so I stepped around to the opposite side of the truck. And at that time, Sergeant Lanier asked me to set up some tape to secure the perimeter.
Sir, what's the purpose of securing the perimeter?
To preserve evidence.
Were you able to accomplish that?
Yes, sir.
Describe for the jury what area you secured.
The front lawn around the house, and then around the back between the side house and to the garage.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Sir, I'm handing you what's been marked as proposed Exhibit 22. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
That is the side of the garage and the side of the other house where I put tape up.
It's the back area of the lot?
Correct.
Is it a fair and accurate picture of the area behind the residence that you secured that evening?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, people move to admit Exhibit 22.
No objection.
Number 22 is admitted.
May I approach?
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge. That's it there, Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Sir, after securing the perimeter, what did you do to assist in the investigation?
After that time, I went to my squad vehicle to get a flashlight to help St. Joe Township assist in searching for any other possible evidence.
Specifically, what did you do, or were you able to? What did you observe? What did you find?
I located a cell phone in the victim's truck.
The truck that you observed in the driveway there?
Yes, sir.
Sir, are St. Joseph City uniforms equipped with body cameras?
Yes, sir.
Were you wearing your uniform and body camera that night?
Yes, sir.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Sir, I'm showing you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 11. What is that?
That's the CD of my body cam footage.
How do you know by looking at that that's a CD of your body cam footage?
So my signature on it, I viewed it.
Thank you. Sir, is this a copy of your entire body camera footage from December 31st, 2018?
No, sir. I believe it's approximately 8 minutes, the first 8 minutes.
From when you arrived on scene at 2086 Colfax on New Year's Eve 2018?
Correct.
Your Honor, I move to admit 111.
No objection.
Okay. 111 is admitted.
Please wish to publish Exhibit 111 at this time to the jury, Your Honor.
Howdy, what man? He's right by that truck. Sir, we grab him? We grab the tape for the ambulance, you have to put it up. How far do you want this going? Higher to the tree maybe? Which one? We got that? I snapped this off the ambulance to get through. I was going to retry it. Alright, see how that's good. Take the nails and look it through. Come on. Hey, heads up, guys. Is it in the house or anything? So he was getting ready to leave? Hey, Pat? Cell phone's in the truck. Cell phone's in the truck.
Sir, when you yelled Pat at the end there, who's Pat?
We're up for just a minute. If any time the jury can't hear, just raise your hand. They're going to ask that you speak up and you give them the microphone if he doesn't.
Sir, will you please state your last answer one more time?
Officer Peppers from St. Joe Township.
Sir, following that moment in the clip there where you located a cell phone in the victim's truck, what did your role in assisting the investigation look like from that point on in the evening? Summarize.
I pretty much just continued to walk around the area to help find any other possible evidence, and then we left to go up to the hospital, Lakeland Hospital.
No more questions, Your Honor. Nothing for Officer Kotecki?
Yes, sir.
Nothing for the officer, thank you.
All right, thank you. You may step down, may the witness be excused.
Yes, sir.
No objection.
You are excused. Mr. Grangely?
At this time, the people will call Deputy Tom Dyer. Sergeant Tom Dyer.
Podium, raise your right hand for the second, please.
Do you hereby solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in the matter not pending before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? This you do under the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
Sir, please state your full name for the record and spell your last name, please.
Thomas Dyer, D-Y-E-R.
Proceed, Your Honor.
Yes.
What do you do, sir?
Currently employed with the Barron County Sheriff's Department as a sergeant on the road patrol.
And how long have you worked for the Barron County Sheriff's Department?
9.5 years.
And what are your duties with the Sheriff's Department, sir?
Currently I'm assigned to road patrol as a sergeant on second shift. Previously I was assigned as a canine handler for nearly 5.5 years.
You're not assigned to canine handler anymore?
No, I am not.
Why is that, sir?
I took a recent promotion, and I've been a sergeant for the last 2.5 months.
And sergeants are not allowed to be canine handlers?
Not in our department.
What was the name of your dog?
Max.
Let me ask you this. Are you trained? Do you do specialized training with Max?
I do. Every year we require to certify. We do an initial 6 weeks of training with the dog for for new handlers, for learning to work with the dog. It's basically down at a training facility down in Peru, Indiana. Also become certified through the American Working Dog Association, Bond Lake Kennels. We also complete the NORT test, which is the North American Odor Recognition Test, which is normally certified through federal law enforcement agencies as well as local municipalities.
Are you trained in dog tracking of people?
Yes.
With Max?
Yes.
How does that go, sir?
Basically, what he's trained to do is he's trained to track. There's a couple different things that he learns to track on. Dogs, out of sense of smell, is way superior than ours. They first tracked. It's called disturbed earth. Anytime there's a footprint or leaves, anything that's crushed, a dog can actually smell the chemical change in that leaf that's broken. They can smell the difference in normal grass from something that somebody just now stepped on and broke that, changed the chemical makeup of that. They also learn to track. It may sound bad, but constantly we're dropping skin particles. We shed skin constantly. So they're also tracking skin that may fall down on the ground during the course of somebody walking from here to there. The third thing is they can also learn to track adrenaline. Adrenaline is something that dumps into your system. With humans, you don't usually smell that kind of stuff, but in the animal kingdom, they're able to actually start smelling adrenaline in somebody, and it actually can drive a dog into tracking better. That's the biggest thing that they talk about with dogs and tracking is a drive. You're always looking for a tracking drive in a dog. So that's the things that are used when we use a dog for tracking, or how they track.
Sir, I want to bring it back to New Year's Eve of 2018, okay?
Okay.
Were you on shift that evening?
I was.
What shift were you working, sir?
I was working the midnight shift. We start at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, and when does that go until, sir?
6:30 in the morning.
And did you have Max with you?
I did.
And I see on your uniform you have a body cam on.
Yes.
Okay, did you guys have body cams back then?
We did not have them at the time.
You only got them recently?
Recently, yes.
So did you respond to a call 2086 Colfax?
I did.
And that's in St. Joe Township, Berrien County, Michigan?
Yes, sir.
And I want you to take a look at what's been admitted already as People's Exhibit 6. As soon as I get the computer to work better. Okay. Familiar with that, sir?
Yes, sir.
How are you familiar with it?
That's the location where homicide occurred.
Tell the jury what you found when you were on scene.
I arrived on scene shortly after several other officers. When I came on scene, I actually made my way along the passenger side of that car and come around to the front where I saw an individual. Basically, he was sitting on the ground with his back up against the side of the car by the driver's door, head hanging down.
Did you notice injuries?
Yes.
What are the injuries that you noticed, sir?
The first thing I noticed was that he was obviously deceased. I could see brain matter on the ground. I could see that he had it coming out. He was bleeding profusely. He was obviously, I'm not a doctor, but it appeared that he was dead.
As part of your duties, that wasn't your main call. St. Joe Township was the main agency responding, sir?
Yes, sir.
Did you try to assist them in any way that you could?
Yes. Myself and another sergeant from Berrien County actually assisted with helping medic get the victim out of there. When they were trying to figure out what was going on with the scene, I asked if there's anything I could do, and I asked them if they would like me to run a track or try to attempt a track for an unknown suspect at that time.
Okay. So is that what you did?
I did.
How shortly after you got the call did you start the track, sir?
I would say within 15 minutes of showing up on scene, and
I would say about 15 minutes I began the track.
Is it important to start a track soon?
Yeah, time is always essential. With all scents, they tend to dissipate over time. It's just a matter of how well you train with your dog to continue tracking. You usually use long distance of time to get your dog used to working harder to find that scent. But when you can find that scent quicker, it makes it easier for the dog. So yeah, time is a little bit valuable, but you can train beyond that.
Sir, I want to take a look at People's Exhibit 4. Is that 2086 Colfax, sir?
Yes.
Where did you start your track at?
I actually started my track on Delaware.
Delaware?
Yes.
Just take a look at People's Exhibit number 1. Are you able to recognize that?
Yes.
I'm going to bring this up to you, actually. Actually, how good are your eyes? Can you see it clearly from here?
Yeah, no, I can see it pretty good.
That's an overview map of the area of Colfax and Delaware, of the scene that you responded to?
Yes.
Okay. Is that kind of a fair and accurate representation of your knowledge of that area?
Yes, sir.
The overview map? Okay. I move that People's Exhibit number 1 into evidence. No objection.
Number 1 is admitted.
So laser pointer? Would it be easier for you to walk up there and point it out to the jury?
Yeah, it'd probably be easier that way.
If I can just have you grab the microphone.
Thank you.
I was about to move back.
There's no great spot, so if you want to step, Judge is okay to steps up to the...
That's fine.
Can you point out to the jury where 2086 Colfax is on that map?
Yes, it's located right here.
And where did you start your search, sir?
I had actually pulled my vehicle right up here. When I was on scene with checking out the victim, I noticed there was a large gap in this area.
Okay.
And thinking, well, if there was a shooter that was here, that's a good area for somebody to take out and run. So what I did is I actually pulled my car up to here, got the dog out, and I began walking. I gave him a command to begin search for a track.
Okay.
I gave him a command. He began searching right about here. We continued searching. There's actually 2 sheds back here in the corner behind these trees that you can't see. We actually got to between those 2 sheds, at which point he had a change of behavior is what we call it. Change of behavior is basically he is more intense on the track. Instead of searching, he now has located the track, and he is now pulling very tightly on his 30-foot lead.
Okay. Sir, if I could have you take a look at People's Exhibit number 5. That's been admitted already. I'll put that up on the screen for you. Does this photograph indicate the area where he started focusing in?
Yes.
Okay. Tell you what, since I have it here, could you just point out to the jury roughly where that was?
It was actually right down in here where he actually picked it up and started back around the back side of that shed.
At the time you started your track, was there any evidence tape up or anything like that at that point?
I don't recall if there was evidence tape up, but I remember yelling, "Has anybody been back here?" and hearing no.
Okay. And why did you do that?
Because I wanted to see if the dog was actually beginning to track one of the officers or somebody that had actually just been back there searching the area.
So no one was back there as far as you knew?
No.
What happened from there, sir?
When we went around the backside of this, shed here, he continued to pull hard on the leash. I knew right away he was on a track. Nose to the ground, continued the track this way. We cut through Delaware on an angle, and when we got to here, it was very evident that he was on a track because due to the fact there was no snow at this time, it was soft grass. You could actually see footprints. We had a flashlight on an angle. You could see footprints. Either the person was 7 foot tall, or there was somebody that was running the strides were that far apart.
Okay.
So you could actually see that the dog was actually right on the track, footstep to footstep, coming around through here, back onto the cement. We headed north on Gerald, where the dog lost the track.
Okay.
When we lost the track, the dog what he normally does, what he's trained to do, he does concentric circles. So basically he'll run circles around and around and around, trying to pick up that track where he lost it. From that point, we never found the track.
Did you continue to try and find the track again?
We did. I actually continued up Gerald. We searched along the houses here, and continued all the way on Hunter over to the road to the west, which is actually the right.
No luck?
No luck.
Okay, just have a seat back, sir. Sir, I'm going to show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 27. Are you able to recognize that, sir?
Yes.
Okay, what is it, sir?
It's actually the corner of Gerald, Delaware. It's actually where that sign says where the footsteps were that I saw while we were tracking.
You say the sign, you're indicating like the stop sign? Or
No, there's a
other side of the street.
Looks like there's a sign that's right by the pine trees there.
Okay. This is fair and accurate representation appeared that day?
Yes, sir.
Can I move the 27 into evidence?
Without objection.
Number 27 is admitted.
So that's kind of a look at the intersection of Gerald and Delaware. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
This intersection right here?
Yes, sir.
We'll be looking at this direction, that way.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 26. You able to recognize that, sir?
Yes, that's looking to the south on Gerald towards Delaware.
Just a different perspective of 27, basically?
Yes.
Fair and accurate, sir?
Yes, sir.
Can I move to admit People's Exhibit 26 into evidence?
No objection.
26 is admitted.
And that's a picture from Gerald looking straight down.
Yes, sir.
South. And do you know where roughly on Gerald that you lost the track?
Yes, it was actually, I recall there's a driveway that's heading to the west, on the east side of the road there. We had passed that driveway, and I would actually say it was, I don't recall seeing the for sale sign there when I was tracking in that picture, but it was right in that area.
So right around it, this is the first driveway you're indicating heading north on the east side?
Yes.
Okay.
And then,
somewhere north of that driveway?
Yep, on the left side of the road or the west side of the road. Right in there's where we lost the track.
Right in that area?
Yes.
I have nothing further to say with the
Judge, I just want to make sure I understand. Officer, that road perpendicular to this road, what road is that?
That is Delaware.
And like I said, just so I understand, so that photograph is taken about here looking south towards Delaware, correct?
I would assume it was just a little bit north of that because I believe it has the driveway, the first driveway on the west side and the first driveway on the east side in that picture.
And thank you for correcting me. So it would have been up here, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just so I understand. Thank you. Thank you, officer. Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
You may step down. May this witness be excused.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection, Judge.
And you are excused.
Thank you.
Now we approach.
Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have exhausted our witnesses for the day. I'm going to send you home now. I remind you, you cannot discuss the case with anyone. You cannot let anyone discuss the case with you or in your presence. You can't read anything, watch anything, listen to anything, not even on the internet or anybody's house, okay? Family and friends are going to want to know, what are you doing? Are you on a trial? You can tell them you're on a trial, but you cannot tell them anything else about this case, okay? I'm going to ask that you return tomorrow at 8:45. Report again directly to the jury room. Again, use only the restrooms provided in the jury room, not any place else in the courthouse. And when you're back there in the morning, you can talk about anything you want except for this case, okay? All right. Have a nice evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:45. Thank you.